Hey guys, and welcome to this week's homework on perfect square trinomials. This scale is going to help us get ready for our circles unit that is coming up. This slide right here is your first example up at the top of your page. We are looking to find the value of c that is going to force this trinomial to be a perfect square trinomial. I have a couple of reminders here for you. Standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We're not going to deal with the equals 0 part today, but it is part of our standard form. We have our trinomial here. Now, the first thing we want to do is kind of remind ourselves of a, b, and c from our standard form. So a is going to be 1 from 1x squared. Negative 20, the sign comes with it for b, and c is what we're looking for to force this to be a perfect square trinomial. So the first thing we want to do to force this to be perfect, this perfect square trinomial right here, is take the value of b and divide by 2. So the value of b is negative 20, and divide that by 2 gives me negative 10. That is a 10. Then I want to take that value, negative 10, and square it. And that gives me 100. So now x squared minus 20x plus 100, so that is our value of c. We want to factor this and force it into this perfect square trinomial, which will work out really nicely. So doing our x method, 1 times 100 is 100, and then our b was negative 20, not 30. And then I need two numbers that multiply to give me positive 100, but add to give me negative 20. It's going to be our negative 10 and our negative 10. Notice here that that was the original b over 2. Okay, so I'm going to show you something there in just a second. So x minus 10 and x minus 10. And since there are two of them, I can write them as 1 down below in our perfect square trinomial. That a little bit better. So that is our solution there. Now what I was going to show you is, notice if I take that b over 2 value, because it was negative 10, if I just put that here, that can complete the square for me. So whenever I take that b over 2, I can go ahead and pop it in those parentheses. That's a short little trick. Now you still need to know how to take that term and square it, because eventually, remember we said we weren't dealing with the equal 0 part today, but eventually we will. So you still need to know how to do that and show that step there. Okay, so that's our example. Question 1, all we're doing is factoring the perfect square trinomial. So from here, I just need two numbers, 1 times 1. That multiplies to give me 1 and adds to give me negative 2, negative 1 and negative 1, x minus 1, x minus 1, and since there's two of them, x minus 1 squared is our perfect square trinomial. That's it for number 1. Factor out the GCF, then factor the perfect square trinomial. We want to say, what do all three of these numbers have in common? Well, the clear answer here is 10. Use our ladder method, 10, which would leave me with x squared plus 10x plus 25. X method, I need two numbers that multiply to give me 25, that add to give me 10. 5 and 5. So we have x plus 5, x plus 5. Now don't forget our GCF out in front. That guy is still there. Now when we go from this form down below, your GCF will still be out in front, but you'll just rewrite that perfect square trinomial with 1. parentheses squared instead of two separate ones like we have here. That's it. So don't forget to bring down your GCF, okay? It is still part of your solution, and eventually the harder problems will be even more important. All right, so this is just like our example up top. Determine the value of C that would make the trinomial a perfect square trinomial and then factor. So first we need to take that value of B over 2, so negative 8 over 2, it's negative 4. Now remember, in our answer, we can go ahead and put that number there. It doesn't tell me the value of C, so I've not completely answered the question, but I do have what my final perfect square trinomial will look like. Then, and we'll come back around to that as we go. So now I want to take that negative 4 and square it. This tells me what C will be. So negative 4 squared is 16. So two numbers that multiply to give me positive 16 and add to give me negative 8, because we are going to refactor that. And it should be of no surprise. It is negative 4 and negative 4. So we have x minus 4 and x minus 4. And then we can rewrite it in this perfect square format again. That is your homework this week, you guys. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask myself, Miss Hinchman, or Miss Jennings. We are all willing and able to help you if you just ask.